Hey there, you, me, and DC fans, and welcome if you're new. I am the stepson of Krypton,
Nah, Mantis.
and today we are talking about Josh Brolin and the rumors of him becoming the next Hal Jordan. Some fans were okay with it, other fans were not. Mantis, are you ready to get into that discussion?
I'm ready.
Let's go. Freeze frame. All right, guys. For those of you who are familiar with the Green Lantern in live action, we have seen Hal Jordan portrayed once before by Ryan Reynolds in the 2011 Green Lantern movie, which, depending who you are, was either a wild success or a huge flop. And by people who thought it was a success means the people who are no longer with us. And everybody else thought it was a flop.
Because they're
Now,
crazy.
we know James Gunn has been talking about the Lantern series that he's going to be bringing out to HBO Max, whatever you want to can call it. I don't care. Pick one.
I don't know now.
But
It's
yeah,
so confusing.
well, because I feel like HBO is coming back on its own, but then there's still Max, right? They're splitting off again. Who fucking knows? But we know that the Max series Lanterns is actually going to follow Jon Stewart and Hal Jordan, whereas we know Guy Gardner is going to be in the Superman movie coming out next year. So that raised a lot of questions about who could play Hal Jordan, right? And there was talks. Chris Pratt was thrown around because even to this day, he and James Gunn are still in talks. Mantis, do you want to talk about what's got some, not everybody, but some DCEU fans in an uproar?
Yeah. It's kind of funny because, like, again, with Hal Jordan, he's been in plenty of animated films, and even still after this one, the only live action portrayal of Hal Jordan is going would be Ryan Reynolds. It's funny because with all the projects that the Green Lantern has had, or projects, as many adaptations of the character, because there's plenty. Like, again, Hal Jordan, Guy Gardner, like you said, Jon Stewart. There's so many possibilities of actors that they could pick to play these characters, because they're not the same. They don't look the same. They don't act the same. They're not from the same area. They don't. It's like a different character, but the same character type of thing. So, but yeah, there was a rumor going around. Again, these all start off from rumors, but this one is interesting because it does involve a previous actor that has done previous superhero acting in both live action and just a voice. Because this actor has played Thanos, he has also played Cable in the Deadpool 2. In the MCU, both of those characters in MCU. Josh Brolin has reportedly been offered the role of Hal Jordan in Lantern. So, yeah, and it I guess where it's kind of thrown people off, and they started, the initial news came out, a lot of the responses was were like, wait, what? Like, Ryan Reynolds, I don't know his age when he played Hal Jordan in the 2011 film. I'm sure you're going to look that up now.
I'm not, because I don't like to get distracted. But he was in his early 30s. Let's put it that way.
Okay, he was young, right? Well, I'm going to say he's young just because of my age or our age. I feel like that's young. Because if not, I'm going to get depressed about it. But yeah, he was young. And Josh Brolin, I think where everyone kind of is getting a little upset about this is because he's 56 now. He's going to turn 56 next year. It just feels to a lot of people, it felt like, why are you going with this old man Hal Jordan thing? And particularly where there was some conflation was a lot of people had previously thought, which I'll get into this later on, that, well, Henry Cavill was fine for Superman. Well, why'd you get rid of him? Was it because he's old? Like, there was this notion, and maybe it's one of those Machiavellian things where it's not actually a thing. People just thought it was. They didn't like the fact that Josh Brolin is so old playing this character, which I don't know your opinion. I'm sure we're going to find out here in a minute. But mine is, again, if the role that they're writing this character for. Again, because Hal Jordan could be the young Hal Jordan, he could be an older Hal Jordan. I feel like that really is the only depending thing. Like that is the bottleneck. That like if he's writing it for a young Hal Jordan, Josh Brolin maybe doesn't make sense there unless you do some weird de-aging, because Josh Brolin isn't the type of guy that could look young, right? Like there are some people in this world, you're just like, how is that dude? He does not look that old. Like, right? Like I'm trying to think of a couple
Eddie
offhand.
Murphy.
Yeah, like there's just some that you're just like he doesn't age. Yeah, like you're just like, what? These actors and actresses look the same. But Josh Brolin obviously is not one of those. He's more of a rough looking dude, which is fine. And it's not saying he looks older than 57, but I mean he looks appropriate for what his age is. So, and if they're writing that character in the Lantern series along John Stewart, which I don't think they have cast yet, or at least there's been no rumors of that casting yet. I would hopefully assume that they're going to write his character that he's old.
So, spoiler alert, I looked it up. Ryan Reynolds was 35 when he played when Green Lantern. So, probably 34 when it was filming, but 35 when the movie came out in 2011. So, here's my thing. Is we don't know anything about the Lantern series yet, other than we know Hal Jordan and John Stewart are going to be following. It might not, and I know he did say that James Gunn, when I say he, did say that everything's going to tie together. Obviously, he wants shows, movies, video games. He wants it all tied together. We did a previous video on that. I'm not going to go too far into that. You're just going to have to go back and check and watch. But we don't know. That doesn't mean that the Lanterns couldn't be in a future time, but still be tied to the current, right? So it could be the older Hal Jordan, because Hal Jordan, and it's a little spoiler alert too, I am working on trying to get it completed, but we do have a Lantern, all about the Green Lanterns, where we kind of go through the entire history of the Green Lanterns themselves, the whole core and everything. I'm trying to keep it as short as possible. Very, very, very information packed about those. So be watching for that if you do want more information as we're talking about this. But Hal Jordan obviously has very, very, probably the most complicated history with the Green Lantern Corps and with all of the Lantern Corps in all of the comic books, right? So he very well could be playing an older version. I don't know, so I can't say. Now, I think where a lot of the big problem comes is the article that you had sent me. It said that the diehard, the DCEU fans, the Henry Cavill fans were the ones really being the most vocal about it, and I get it, right, guys? I'm with you. We have said it before on the channel. Like, I know some people accused us of being a James Gunn's ass. No, I think he's going to do a good movie, because he's been given, like, it's very, very, like, rare gift to be given a franchise like Superman or Star Wars that, you want to believe that people are going to do right by the character, right? Because it is such an iconic character. Now, I understand the disbelief when we see what happened with fucking Star Wars, right? But I want to believe. However, I am with you guys. I would rather still see Henry Cavill be playing Superman. I'm there. I understand it, right? The unfortunate reality is that's not a thing. It's not going to happen. So we kind of have to move on. We can still be pissed about it, but that's not getting us anywhere, right? So I get it, right? The idea that James Gunn wanted young actors and actresses to play Superman, to play Lois Lane, and then all of a sudden it's like, 56-year-old Thanos coming over here to play Hal Jordan. It seems off. I get that, right?
I am inevitable.
That's where I gotta believe maybe it is a futuristic, like we're gonna follow them in the future, and that would kind of be a thing of like maybe you see glimpses of what's gonna happen in the past, like events to come. Would I think be kind of a cool way to do that? Like you see some things, just little glimpses or something on the screen, or they mention something, and then we're gonna see it, kind of like the future foretold. Do I think he's necessarily right for Hal Jordan? Again, we've seen Ryan Reynolds where he plays a very sarcastic, kind of goofy, smartass type of thing, which is initially how Hal Jordan is. However, in the comics, Hal Jordan, again, after all the shit he goes through with the core stuff, he does, get older and mature and become more serious. So could Brolin play that? Yeah. He's still, again, not my first choice for Hal Jordan, but again, at this point, we don't have any information about
the role.
In what time is he playing Hal Jordan? What phase of Hal Jordan's life is he playing?
Yeah, I think a lot of the people's pushback was it would look weird opposite a youthful Superman, which I get as well, but and he didn't look enough like the character, which we went into with our Brewster Gold video. What we thought about that and those being linchpins on good or bad castings. However, a few of the people did mention or pointed out that Gunn could be looking more towards the parallax route with Hal Jordan, which would require an older actor for that role. All interesting stuff. Very, very interesting stuff. My thoughts on it, I don't mind it. I like Josh Brolin. I don't know how he's going to do as Hal Jordan. But kind of jumping off onto the people that were upset about this rumor because of like the Henry Cavill stuff. This is not a single thing, just one that I'd found where a person on Twitter had said, they said Henry Cavill was too old to play Superman. Ha ha ha. I'm done with the DCU. It's like, it hasn't even come out, guys. Plus, Gunn is quoted as saying that it was never about age regarding Henry Cavill and not to re-sign him as Superman. And in fact, the quotes that I saw specifically from the discussing film Twitter says James Gunn says they, quote, didn't fire Henry Cavill. Henry was never cast, unquote. For me, it's about who I don't want to cast, it's for me, it's about who do I want to cast as Superman and who do the filmmakers we have want to cast. And for me, his story isn't Henry. So again, this is kind of in the same vein as Josh Brolin. It depends on how the character is written. It depends on what casting is going to work there. Again, from 1,000-foot view, and as you said, we don't know anything about the film or the series, The Lanterns. We don't really know much. So, like, how can we say it's a bad casting at this point? All we have to do is go off of what he looks like. And from that point of view, I get it. Some people, it's like, you're comparing him to Ryan Reynolds and the younger version of Hal Jordan. It doesn't make sense. But we don't know the story. We don't know what's going on. And I will just say this, like you, I'm hopeful. This is my position on James Gunn. I'm hopeful that he does well. 2, because I never said 1. That's 1. Secondly, I don't believe that James Gunn is looking to intentionally fuck up these characters in the DCU. He's not intentionally looking to fuck it up.
All you gotta do is not fuck up.
Like Kathleen Kennedy was trying to blow up Star Wars for an idealistic crusade.
Put another chicken and make her gay.
Fuck that bitch and put a chicken and make her gay.
Sorry, I used a Obi-Wan Kenobi quote in there. Damn idealistic crusade. I did that not even knowing I did it. But I don't think those two taking these situations, they're not the same. Like, these two people are not the same. And again, I'm not trying to suck off James Gunn here.
Suck!
We pointed out some things that we were like, this doesn't look good, right? But we haven't seen anything yet other than behind the scenes shit. So I'm not gonna, like, I don't want to say we're sucking him off. Okay, if I'm supposed to be bashing him, tell me what I'm supposed to be bashing him about. Like, tell me.
Tell me why.
Because I haven't
are
seen
some
it.
concerning things, right? We you know, when we discussed the suit, then we saw the Guy
Yes.
Gardner's suit. Because again, we know, or at least we have decent evidence of that's going to be a group controlled by Maxwell Lord, whatever. That's why they're all in similar looking leather suits and stuff like that. It is a bit concerning, right? Because the thing is, again, this is Superman's make or break of the DCU, right? So if this movie doesn't do well, and the thing is, maybe some Superman fans absolutely love it, right? But the majority of the masses hate it. Well, if it doesn't do good at the box office, there goes your
That's what
DCU, right? It's
Yes.
gotta appeal enough to Superman fans and comic book fans, but then also be able to bring in the attention of the masses. That's going to get you those billion-dollar numbers like Deadpool and Wolverine just got, that help launch or sometimes save a franchise, right?
Mhm.
So you need that, right? So yeah, I get some things are looking a little concerning, right? I'm there with you guys. I'm not saying that they're not, right? There are some things that I'm like,
Yeah, for sure.
really hoping that gets fixed in post, you know, like,
Yeah.
and then there's some
Yeah.
other things that I'm questioning, but again, I haven't even seen a trailer yet, right? I can't make up my mind, really, even after a trailer. Trailers are highlight reels, right? They're going to show you the best stuff.
Yeah.
You
Shit,
know?
I mean, I'll say, like, I've actually gone away from trying to not watch trailers because I feel like, at least within the past 5 to 10 years, trailers have ruined movies. Like, in my opinion, like, they show way too much of what's going on. I just don't. I try to not watch them.
The problem is, and guys, let me know because I've not seen it. But the Borderlands, we actually reacted to the trailer, and the trailer looked good. And from what I've read, people said that's the best parts of the movie, right? So it's kind of like, yeah, you just saw the whole movie in 2 minutes, right? I don't need to watch the rest. And judging by its like $20 million box office numbers, they're right.
Yeah. It didn't end up well for them. And I'll say, in closing, for me, again, I get the outrage. I get it. Like, I don't know how many super fans we have of Hal Jordan out there, Green Lantern super fans. Let us know what you think about the casting. But personally, I can't really judge it. All I can say is Josh Brolin has done a decent job in his superhero roles. I don't feel like it's out of his range to do this, especially if it's an older character. But we don't know what's going on. We don't know how the character's supposed to be written. So we'll find out.
I will say, here's my one thing on this. Is my final thought on it, right? I'm willing to wait until I have more information, right? Of is these, because are you familiar with the whole parallax thing?
Oh, him turning to the fear side? No.
He becomes Parallax, right? So in the comics, and he obliterates the fucking Green Lantern Corps. Like it's an amazing thing, and they rebuild. Like I said,
That sounds fucking awesome.
I'll have the video. I'll have whenever the video's up, I'll post that there. But we go through all of that about what happens with Hal Jordan and all of that stuff, because it is amazing stuff. You got Brightest Day coming in, Blackest Night, which is a whole comic book series, and the whole prophecy and all that. A lot of great information, guys. I'd love to be able to go into it, but like, I'm trying to not bring you hour-long videos. We're trying our best, but so much good information. So if they're doing that where he's older, hey, great. What only thing I don't want to see, here's the one thing I don't want to see. I don't want to see a character, especially if you're doing a series, and I don't believe they will because it is a series. I don't want de-aging. I don't want CGI de-aging. No.
Right. Yeah.
Because even in the best movies with the biggest budgets, it still looks odd. And again, if you're doing a series, even though it's got, max budget and all that, it's going to have a pretty good budget. I don't want, because you've got Green Lanterns, right? So all their powers everything has to be CG, right? Spend it on that. Don't spend it on de-aging a character, right? That's my only ask. If you're going to pick Brolin, he better be for an older Hal Jordan. Good with that. There's plenty of story to do with older Hal Jordan. Again, I don't know, so I can't make a decision yet. Just don't do the de-aging. But let us know down in the comments. How do you feel? And look past the I get it. You can let us know too if you're still #Henry. We do love Henry Cavill on the channel here. I wish he was still playing Superman. Both of us have our Superman shirts on in support of him. We do love him as Superman. He was, obviously, other than Christopher Reeve, who was my Superman, he was amazing. But I feel like we just got to let it go at this point. We're not going to get what we want. So is the age thing, is that a big turnoff? Is Josh Brolin a turnoff? Do you not want to see Thanos play Hal Jordan? Let us know down in the comments. All right, guys. And if you have made it with us this far, consider giving this video a like. Right there. Subscribing to the channel so you don't miss out on that whole entire Lantern series that I've been talking about multiple times, and plus all of the other content that we have coming up, because we're trying to stay up to date and keep you guys up to date on this, but things and rumors are flying around like crazy right now that we're recording so many damn videos that we're not able to keep up. We both have full-time jobs too, so we're doing our best, guys. Comment down below. Let us know what you think, guys. And I just want to say, I do appreciate all of the comments that we've gotten of late, as well as our subscribers. Even though not all of them have been the most pleasant, we still appreciate you at least taking the time to comment. However, we always do ask that, if you do have a differing opinion, we want differing opinions here, but you can do it respectfully, say, oh, I disagree because of this X, Y, Z, right? You don't have to say we're simple or we're stupid. And all of that just because you disagree. That's not a discussion, right? That's just you shut down an argument thinking you're right? And these are all opinions, right? Because it's all fucking make-believe. It's all made-up shit, so it's opinions. All right? But, guys, just know, we do appreciate you regardless. If you have a different opinion than us, we still appreciate you taking the time. So,
for sure.
Mantis, unless you have anything else. Any PSAs?
I feel like I feel like I need I don't know, some sort of catchphrase thing, because you always ask me anything else and I'm just like, awkward pause, or nope, I'm good.
You need a Robin, old school Burt Ward Robin, holy crimson skies of death. You need something like that, kind of a catchphrase for when I throw it to you. Hey, anything else?
I mean, I'm good with the awkward pause. If you do it, I'll just sit here. See, I feel like that works.
There we go. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us. This episode of You, Me, and DC. Until next time, we will see you then.
Later.